Hey guys, this is Zach from Grip the Top Commander, and I'm going to be showing you my Melek Izzet Paragon EDH deck tech. Now, this may be different from any other Melek list that you've seen. I decided the moment I saw this guy spoiled and the moment I saw this art spoiled, I really wanted to build him as a general, and I wanted to go to the dark side of the Izzet League. I really wanted to challenge myself and see if Storm could work in a 100 card singleton format. This is Melek Izzet Paragon Storm. He's a wizard. He's kind of a weird wizard. You can play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast the top card of your library if it is an instant or sorcery card, and when you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your library, copy it, you may choose new targets for the copy. Now, copies of spells are not cast, so they do not add to your storm count. That's important to note, but still, even without that, this deck is just capable of crazy things. This deck is 100% reliable, extremely efficient. I have yet to pull the trigger and not end the game with a 15-minute turn that kills everyone on the table with Grape Shot. It might not be the most fun deck to play with. It's definitely the solitaire style where you play with yourself and everyone just watches, but it's an amazing accomplishment. It's so much fun to play, and it's pretty fun to watch if you've never seen Storm go off in EDH. Now, since Melek is 6 mana, you really want to get him out fairly quick. You want to get him out as soon as possible so you can kind of start before you get too much hate. So for mana rocks, I use Soul Ring, Mana Vault, turn 2 Grim Monolith, means that you can cast Melek on turn 3, Izzet Signet. Also for ramp, I run Millikin and Deranged Assistant. Both of these cards allow me to ramp, and they allow me to manipulate the top of my library. So if there's a land on top of my library that is not an instant or sorcery, or anything I would rather have in my graveyard or do not wish to see, these cards are amazing. Another thing that really helps me ramp up and helps me storm off easily are reduction effects. So Sapphire Medallion, Ruby Medallion, Helm of Awakening, and Goblin Electromancer are just amazing cards in the deck. You get them early, you can go off, you cast them when you're in the middle of going off, and it just helps ensure that you can close out the game. For producing fake mana, I use High Tide. Now, I can't talk about how good High Tide is in this deck. It's crucial. Usually, anytime I start off the turn where I'm going to try and win, I'll start with High Tide. It really helps you produce that fake blue mana, and it's the reason why the basic island count is so important. Now, Energy Tap isn't really a card you're going to see anywhere else in EDH. You tap untapped creature you control becomes tapped. Add an amount of colorless mana equal to target creature's casting cost to your mana pool. So this is 1 blue mana to put 6 colorless, because Melek is really one of the only creatures in the deck. So cast Energy Tap, tap Melek, get 6 colorless. The more traditional cards you'll see for fake mana are Desperate Ritual, Paretic Ritual, Seething Song, Inner Fire, Mana Geyser, and Mana Flare. Mana Flare does double everyone's lands, so be careful when you use it, and only use it when you're going to go off or you are going off. Being able to untap your land is pretty good and add to your storm count. So Snap, Frantic Search, and Turnabout all will untap your land and help you keep going. Now, I give Turnabout the Card of the Deck award with this deck. Turnabout is amazing. I abuse this card more than the priest in the picture abuses the little boy. I'm serious. You can untap your land. That's what you do most of the time. Target yourself, untap all your land, keep storming off. All of your land will tap for 2 or 3 mana, and then just get this card back from the graveyard, cast it again, copy it when you cast it, put it on top of your library, cast it, let Melek get you a copy. Amazing card. Best card in the deck. With Melek, the top of your library is extremely important, and being able to dig down in your deck and just storm off is important. So I use Sensei's Divining Top, Scroll Rack, and Library of Lang to help control the top of my deck, make sure I don't have a maximum hand size. And whenever you draw and then discard, you can use Library of Laying to discard to the top of your library so you can choose the spells in your hand you want to have on top to copy. Now, all of the cards that just cantrip, help you move through the deck, or gain you card advantage, there is Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, and Serum Visions. We use Careful Study and Omen as additional looting effects. Now, Predict. This is another card that you won't see in any other deck. At instant speed for 2 mana, name a card, then put the top card of target player's library into his graveyard. If that card is the named card, you draw 2 cards. Otherwise, draw a card. Now, in Melek, if Predict is on top of your library, you cast Predict. Then, Melek will make a copy of Predict while the top of your library is revealed. With the copy of Predict, you name the card on top of your library, put it in your graveyard, draw 2 cards, then the original Predict will show you the new card on top of the library, name that, put it in your graveyard, draw 2 cards. So for 2 mana, you just drew 4 cards and put 2 into your graveyard or your second hand. Amazing card. Brain Freeze. This is a versatile card. It can be used as a win condition, although 90% of the time you're using it to fill your own graveyard and set up for a big turn. Faithless Looting, Desperate Ravings, Impulse, Ideas Unbound, Meditate, Deep Analysis, Factor Fiction, and Steam Augury all just help move you through the deck, fill up your graveyard, draw a ton of cards, get card advantage. Now, Dak Faden, the greatest thief in the multiverse. You caught him red-handed. He's in the deck. He is amazing. 3 mana as a way to loot. He's a great card. You can gain control of artifacts, steal mana rocks. His emblem doesn't happen, although it's funny to think that Grape Shot could turn into an insurrection. Most of the time, Dak Faden just ends up being a draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards whenever you use him. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Big Boy Pants Jace, Brainstorm. He's another Brainstorm. You can set the top of your library. Really good card. He's utilized really well in this deck. Now, with your graveyard, you want to be able to get more use out of your spells. Your fake mana spells, your untap your land spells, you want to be able to use a good spell more than once. So, Recoup, Call to Mind, Mystic Retrieval, Past in Flames, and Spelltwine all help you get eternal use out of your graveyard, casting cards multiple times. And Past in Flames, being notorious for storm decks, is just great in this build. Now, if you're not able to dig to what you need when you need it, there are tutors. And this deck actually runs a surprising high amount of tutors, so you can get exactly what you need. Whether it's High Tide, Turnabout, or a win condition, there's Gamble, Mystical Tutor, Personal Tutor, Merchant Scroll, Quiet Speculation, Intuition, Long-Term Plans, and now 3 very interesting tutors. There is Mana Severance, another card you probably won't see anywhere else. You search your library for any number of land cards, remove them from the game, and shuffle your library. What a terrible card. You need land in EDH. You do not need land to storm off. When you see a land on top of your library, it is one of the most sad experiences ever when you play Melek. So Mana Severance is a great card to just clear the way and let you storm off. No more land in your deck means you don't really hit anything that nerfs you on the top. You get to just keep going. Your deck is pure spells. It's a great card. Now, I do run Burning Wish and Cunning Wish in this deck. Burning Wish and Cunning Wish allow you to choose a spell card you own from outside the game, you reveal that card and put it in your hand, and then you remove Cunning Wish and Burning Wish from the game. Now, both of these cards have been errated to say only cards in your sideboard can be grabbed. And since EDH does use a sideboard, these cards can be used in EDH. Your sideboard has the same rules as the deck. you can have up to 10 cards in your sideboard. The cards in your sideboard must still follow the color identity rules. So I will get to the wish board in just a little bit, and I will show you which instance and which sorceries I've chosen to have in my wish board. For spells, copying them is really good. Melek copies them from the top. Being able to copy them again, I use Twin Cast, Reverberate, and Increasing Vengeance to help create copies of spells. And then Fork. Fork is the best copy spell. Now, remember earlier when I said that copies of spells are not cast? So a spell with Storm that's copied, you're not really casting the copy so the copy doesn't storm again. Fork is actually the only copy spell in the game that will actually become a copy of the spell being cast. So if you cast a spell with Storm and then you use Fork, Fork as it's being cast becomes a copy of that spell, and so Fork has Storm. It's just ridiculous. It's so good. I will always save Fork for one of my win conditions. Huge card, really sets you up to just blow out and win the game. When it is time to win the game, there are a few cards that I use in addition to Fork. Mind's Desire, you shuffle your library, remove the top card of your library from the game, and until end of your turn, you can cast it as though it was in your hand without paying its mana cost, and this has Storm. So you essentially get to double whatever your current Storm count is, and all of those cards can be cast in any order, not the order that they're revealed with Mind's Desire, because they all say until end of turn you can cast them for free. So double your Storm count, keep going for free. Even if you've run out of fake mana, this card will help you generate more fake mana, draw more cards, keep going, and it'll probably hit your win conditions. Epic Experiment does a very similar thing. Genesis Wave for spells, you get to cast all of them until end of turn. Really, really, really great card with Epic Experiment. Now, the actual win conditions of the deck are Grape Shot, Empty the Warrens, Ignite Memories, and your opponents walking away from the table because their mom has to pick them up is a real win condition. People will sit there with their faces in their hands, not being able to cast anything. Their mom pulls up in the minivan and they can't sit there to watch your turn go off anymore, and your opponents will leave. That is a very real way to win the game. But when you have friends with more patience or are self-sufficient with their own transportation, my favorite is Ignite Memories. So much fun. This card kind of pays everyone back for waiting so long because it's a really fun card. It's a really random card. Everyone seems to always have an Avacyn in their hand whenever I cast this, and so you're just hitting land after land after land, trying to hit the big Avacyn and try and close out the game. Ignite Memories is just fun. I love Ignite Memories. So that is the deck. That is my Melek Izzet Paragon deck. That is the prime and the true. Every card in this deck has really, really, really fought out some major competitors to become the best, but sometimes it's really hard to include the best in just 100. And that is why I just chose to use Burning Wish and Cunning Wish. These cards are just so great. So let's go ahead and move into the Wish board. So for Cunning Wish, it can do any instant. And so I chose to have 5 instants in my Wish board. And they are all counter spells. When you're playing Storm, counter spells are very important. You want to be able to protect your turn. You don't want to sit there for 15 minutes, have a friend go to counter your win condition, and then you're out of the game. So Cunning Wish will go get Pact of Negation, Trick Bind, Counterflux, Mindbreak Trap, and Rewind. All of them are very good. Rewind, of course, letting you untap and you keep going. Mindbreak Trap, being able to exile spells straight off the stack, so even their uncounterable counterspell like Counterflux will be able to be stopped. And then Pact of Negation, you really don't have to pay for the pact if you win that turn. So great cards. Then Burning Wish can grab sorceries. So the 5 sorceries I included were Vandal Blast for artifacts, Chain Reaction, and Blasphemous Act for if creatures are overwhelming you, Temporal Fissure for any permanent that you can't handle already, and then Volcanic Awakening to destroy target land, Storm, just really clear the way, make sure no one else has any mana to really hinder you. Wish boards are great if you guys plan on making a Melek Izzet Paragon deck. So let's get to the land. I run Command Tower, Steam Vents, Sulphur Falls, Temple of Epiphany, Izzet Guildgate, and Shivan Reef as my dual land. Utility land, I keep it to Halimar Depths, Temple of the False God, and Reliquary Tower. Then I run 14 islands and 10 mountains. Now, the basics are a very important part of this deck, since having just a high island count is pretty crucial to the deck working, so you want to make sure you have a good amount of islands. Let me know what you think of the Storm build. If there's any cards you feel like I should include, let me know. I'm really interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this type of deck in EDH, if it's unfun and it shouldn't be played, how you guys like seeing wishes being used in EDH. Any information you guys, or any feedback you guys want, feel free to comment, like, favorite, and subscribe. Thanks again.
Hey guys, welcome to Grip Commander. Hope you enjoyed that video we just did. And so, if you have seen in my videos, you've seen me where I've eaten a hot jalapeno pepper. If you guys hit the subscribe button. My son thought it was so funny and so cool he wanted to do the same thing. So hit the subscribe button right now. And if you do, my 9-year-old's gonna eat a jalapeno pepper by his own choice. All right, you ready? Okay, hit the subscribe button. All right, you ready, guys? All right, go, James. How you feeling, buddy? How you feeling? Hey. He's a little steamy right now. It's okay. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Just swallow it. Just swallow it. No! It's gonna get worse if you leave it in your mouth. Just swallow it. It's just gonna get worse. Alright guys, if you want to see more videos, click right above my head. If you want to see other videos, click right here where Josie is. Okay guys, alright. Thanks buddy, you're the man.